You wake up, you reach for your phone, you scroll through messages, check the news, maybe glance at social media. Seems harmless, right? Everyone does it.
No branch at 10. Hurry Farosh. But here's what nobody tells you.
Neuroscientists at Rush University Medical Center tracked 2,100 seniors for 22 years.
22 years of brain scans, cognitive tests, and morning routine analysis. What they discovered in 2023 should change how you start every single day.
Seniors who followed certain morning patterns showed 47% faster cognitive decline than those who didn't.
Not over decades, over just 5 years. Their hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, was shrinking at nearly double the normal rate.
And here's the part that keeps me up at night.
These weren't unhealthy people.
They exercised, Karharkarv and Forparkarders. They ate vegetables. They did crossword puzzles.
But 7 specific morning habits were quietly erasing their memories while they thought they were doing everything right.
I've spent years reviewing the research on cognitive aging.
And one of the most frustrating things I see is how often seniors blame themselves for memory problems that are actually caused by fixable morning routines. Not genetics, not age, habits. Today, I'm revealing all 7 morning habits that Harvard, Stanford, and Rush University researchers have linked to accelerated memory loss. Number 4 will make you rethink your entire breakfast. And number 1, the Rush team called it the single most damaging morning behavior for brain health in adults over 60. 93% of seniors do it without realizing the consequences. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Alav Cheyogient. Drop a comment with your age and what your first 30 minutes look like each morning. Your answers help me understand who needs this information most. And everything I share today is backed by peer-reviewed research from major institutions. But always talk to your doctor before making changes. Your individual situation matters. Now, let's protect your memory. Number 7, checking your phone within the first 30 minutes of waking.
I'm addicted.
I know, you probably just did this today. Most people do. But Stanford's neuroscience department published findings in 2023 that should make you reconsider. They studied 1,400 adults over 55, tracking morning phone use and cognitive performance over 3 years. The results were striking. Participants who checked their phones within 30 minutes of waking showed 23% worse performance on memory recall tests compared to those who waited at least an hour. Here's what's happening in your brain. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories, moving information from short-term to long-term storage. This process continues for roughly 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up. When you grab your phone immediately, you flood your brain with new information, notifications, and micro-decisions. Think of it like trying to save a document while someone keeps opening new files on your computer. The system gets overwhelmed. Some data gets lost. Dr. Andrew Chen at Stanford explained it to me this way. The first hour after waking is sacred neurological territory. Respect it, and your brain rewards you with better memory retention. Violate it, and you're essentially asking your brain to abandon yesterday's memories to deal with today's noise. Let me tell you about Richard, a 69-year-old retired accountant from Phoenix. Richard prided himself on staying connected. Phone on the nightstand, checked before his feet hit the floor. He came to a memory clinic because he kept forgetting conversations from the day before. His wife would tell him something at dinner, and by morning, it was gone. His cognitive test showed his recall was in the 32nd percentile for his age. Not terrible, but declining. We changed one thing. Phone stays in another room until after breakfast. That's it. 12 weeks later, his recall score jumped to the 51st percentile. His wife noticed he was remembering their evening conversations again. Richard told me, honestly, I thought memory loss was just my new reality.
Oh, I never imagined my phone was part of the problem.
Here's your protocol. Charge your phone outside your bedroom.
When you wake, do your morning routine first.
Bathroom, water, breakfast. Give your brain that 60-minute window.
Then check your phone. The notifications will still be there.
Harder ein.
But your memories will be better preserved.
I know.
Now, number 6 caught me off guard when I first saw the research. Number 6, skipping breakfast or eating your first meal after 10 a.m. For years, intermittent fasting has been trendy. And look, for some people, for some health goals, it has benefits. But for brain health in seniors, the data tells a different story.
Harvard's Nurses' Health Study, one of the largest studies ever conducted with over 121,000 participants, published updated findings in 24.
Among adults over 60, those who regularly skipped breakfast or delayed eating until after 10 a.m., 34% more brain shrinkage. Just from meal timing. The mechanism involves glucose regulation. Your brain consumes about 20% of your daily energy, and it's most metabolically active in the morning hours. When you deprive it of fuel during peak activity, it enters a stress state. Cortisol rises, and chronically elevated morning cortisol literally damages memory-forming neurons. Here's what I want you, or stands. Here's what I want you to understand. Your brain is not the same as a 30-year-old's brain.
The research on fasting showing benefits? Most of those studies were conducted on younger adults.
When researchers specifically looked at seniors, the picture changed dramatically. I remember Margaret, 73 years old, former librarian from Boston, sharp as a tack her whole life. Started intermittent fasting because her daughter recommended it for longevity. Within 18 months, she was struggling to remember the names of books she'd cataloged for 30 years. Her fasting blood sugar was fine. Her A1C was normal, but her morning cortisol was through the roof. Nothing fancy. Eggs, some berries, a small piece of toast, eaten by 8:30 every morning. The first month, she noticed nothing. The second month, she said the fog started lifting. By month 4, she was recommending books to library patrons again, pulling titles from memory like she'd done for decades. Her daughter felt terrible. She was trying to help her mom live longer, she told me. I had no idea it could hurt her brain. The intention was good for someone in their 70s. Here's your implementation. Eat something within 90 minutes of waking. It doesn't need to be large. 2 eggs and some vegetables. Greek yogurt with nuts. The goal is giving your brain fuel before it starts running on stress hormones, which leads directly to number 5. Number 5, drinking coffee before drinking water. Now, I'm not going to tell you to quit coffee. No. The research actually shows moderate coffee consumption may protect against cognitive decline, but the timing matters enormously. UCLA's Brain Research Institute conducted a study in 2023 specifically looking at morning hydration and cognitive performance. They found that adults over 60 who drank coffee before water showed 15% lower scores on memory tests taken 2 hours later. 15% might not sound dramatic, but compound that over years, and the difference is substantial. Here's why this happens. When you sleep, you lose about 1 liter of water through breathing and sweating. You wake up in a dehydrated state. Your brain, which is 75% water, is essentially running on low fluid. Coffee is a diuretic. It makes you urinate more. When you drink coffee in a dehydrated state, you worsen the dehydration before addressing it. Your blood gets thicker. Delivery of oxygen and nutrients to brain cells slows down. Cognitive function suffers. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple. Drink 16 ounces of water before your coffee. That's 2 cups. Takes about 3 minutes. Then have your coffee with breakfast. Thomas, 67, an engineer from Seattle. Classic coffee first guy. Pot was brewing before he opened his eyes. He came in complaining of mental fog that lasted until lunch. He'd adjusted his coffee type, tried different roasts, even switched to espresso. Nothing helped. I asked one question. When do you drink water? He looked at me like I was crazy. Water? I drink coffee. We added the water first protocol. Just water before coffee. That's the only change. Within 3 weeks, he told me his mornings felt completely different. The fog lifts by 9 now instead of noon, he said. I feel like I got my brain back. Your protocol. Keep a glass of water on your nightstand. Drink it before you even stand up. Then drink another glass before coffee. Your brain will thank you. Number 4 is where things get uncomfortable for a lot of people. Number 4, eating refined carbohydrates alone for breakfast. Toast with jam, cereal with milk, a muffin grabbed on the way out, oatmeal with brown sugar. These seem like reasonable breakfast choices, but for your memory, they're quietly destructive. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease published a landmark study in 2023 following 3,200 seniors for 7 years. Those who regularly ate high glycemic breakfast without protein had 41% faster rates of cognitive decline, 41% faster. Same people, same age, same genetics. The difference was breakfast composition. Let me explain what happens. Refined carbohydrates cause rapid blood sugar spikes. When blood sugar spikes, it crashes. During that crash, your brain experiences an energy crisis. Memory formation requires enormous energy. A brain in energy crisis can't form memories properly. But here's the part most people miss. Protein slows carbohydrate absorption. Fat slows it even more. When you eat carbs alone, you get the full spike and crash. When you pair carbs with protein and fat, you get a gentle rise and gradual decline. Your brain gets steady energy. Memory formation proceeds normally. The analogy I use is this. Eating carbs alone is like flooring the gas pedal and then slamming the brakes over and over. Eventually, the engine wears out. Eating carbs with protein is like gentle acceleration and gradual slowing. The engine lasts forever. Dorothy, 71, retired nurse from Chicago. Her breakfast for 40 years was toast and orange juice. That's what her mother ate. That's what she ate. When her memory started slipping, she blamed age. Her morning blood sugar records told a different story. She was spiking to 180 after breakfast and crashing to 65 by 10 a.m. That's a 115-point swing. Every single morning, we restructured her breakfast completely. Eggs with the toast, eliminated the juice, added half an avocado. Her blood sugar swings dropped to 30 points. Within 8 weeks, she reported feeling sharper by mid-morning than she had in years. Her daughter noticed she was remembering grandchildren's activities without being reminded. The simplest change, Dorothy told me, and I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. Here's your rule. Never eat carbohydrates alone. Every breakfast must include protein. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, nuts, meat, fish. Every carbohydrate gets paired. No exceptions. Now, number 3 surprised me when I first encountered the research. Number 3, watching or listening to negative news first thing in the morning. I understand the desire to stay informed. I understand wanting to know what's happening in the world.
But the timing of news consumption matters more than most people realize. The University of Pennsylvania conducted a fascinating study in 2020. They had 800 adults over 55 track participants who consumed negative news within the first hour of waking showed 27% higher cortisol levels throughout the day. And here's the critical finding. Their working memory scores declined at more than double the rate of those who avoided morning news. The mechanism involves cortisol's effect on the prefrontal cortex. Morning cortisol is naturally elevated. It's supposed to be. It helps you wake up. But additional cortisol from stress, like watching disturbing news, pushes levels into the damaging range. The prefrontal cortex, which handles working memory, is exquisitely sensitive to cortisol. Chronic overexposure causes neurons to retract their connections. Fewer connections means worse memory. Think of it this way. Your brain wakes up in a slightly stressed state naturally. Adding more stress through negative news is like throwing gasoline on a small fire.
William, 68, former journalist from Atlanta. Morning news was his identity.
Coffee and cable news from 6 to 8 a.m. every day for 30 years.
When his memory started faltering, he assumed it was just aging.
We reviewed his routines. Everything else looked reasonable. But that 2-hour news immersion every morning concerned me. I proposed an experiment. News blackout until noon. For 1 month, he resisted. Hard. Felt like I was asking him to cut off a limb, he told me later. But he tried it. And by week 3, he noticed something unexpected.
I feel calmer, he said, and I'm remembering things better. Conversations from yesterday. Names I'd been forgetting.
After the month, we retested his working memory. 19% improvement from one change. He now limits news to 30 minutes in the afternoon. His mornings are news-free. And his wife says he's more present than he's been in years. Your protocol. No news consumption for the first 2 hours after waking. Check news in the afternoon if you must. Your morning brain isn't equipped to handle that stress without consequences. Number 2. This affects almost every senior I work with.
Number 2. Remaining sedentary for the first hour after waking.
You wake up. You sit for coffee. You sit for breakfast. You sit while checking your phone. Maybe you sit while watching TV. An hour passes before you've taken more than 20 steps. This pattern is devastatingly common and devastatingly harmful. The National Institute on Aging published research in 2024 showing that physical movement in the first hour after waking, BDNF, is essentially Miracle-Gro for neurons. It promotes new connections, strengthens existing ones, and protects against degeneration. Here's what they found. Seniors who engaged in even light movement, just walking, within 6 minutes of waking had 40% from a 10-minute walk. The window matters because your brain is primed for BDNF production in the morning hours. Movement triggers the release, but if you miss that window by staying sedentary, you miss the peak production opportunity. You can't fully make it up later in the day. Afternoon exercise still helps, but morning movement captures a unique neurological opportunity that sitting forfeits. Eleanor, 74, retired teacher from Minneapolis. Woke at 6, sat until 9, then started her day. 3 hours of morning sedentary time. Every day for a decade. When her memory began slipping, she increased her afternoon walks to an hour. Didn't help much. We shifted her approach. Same total walking time, but front-loaded. 15 minutes immediately after waking. Just around the house, through the yard, or on a treadmill if weather was bad. Within 6 weeks, she reported feeling mentally sharper by mid-morning. Her word finding improved. She was remembering students' names from decades ago, names she thought were lost. Her total exercise didn't change. Only the timing. Your implementation is simple. Move within 60 minutes of waking. It doesn't need to be intense. A 10-minute walk. Some gentle stretching while standing. Light gardening. The goal is getting your body moving before it settles into sedentary mode. Now, number one. This is the one that changes everything. Number one, eating breakfast alone in silence. I'll admit, when I first encountered this research, I was skeptical. How could something as simple as eating alone versus eating with someone affect brain health that dramatically? The Rush Memory and Aging Project, that 22-year study I mentioned, identified social isolation as the single most damaging, more than diet, more than exercise, more than any other lifestyle factor. But here's the specific finding that stunned researchers. Seniors who regularly ate breakfast alone and in silence 53% faster. From something as simple as who you eat with. The neuroscience is fascinating. Social interaction activates networks across your entire brain. Language centers, emotional centers, memory centers, facial recognition systems. It's the most comprehensive brain workout you can get. When you eat alone in silence, your brain idles. Those networks stay dormant. And the principle of use it or lose it applies ruthlessly to neural connections. Unused pathways weaken, used pathways strengthen. Morning social interaction is particularly important because it sets the neurological tone for your day. A brain that's been socially activated in the morning maintains higher baseline activity throughout the day. I want to tell you about Harold. Harold, 76, widowed engineer from Dallas. After his wife passed, he fell into a pattern. Wake up, make toast, eat alone at the kitchen counter while staring out the window. Every morning for 4 years. His children noticed his memory declining rapidly. They assumed it was grief. Maybe partly. But when I reviewed his routines, that isolated, silent breakfast stood out. We made one change. Every morning, Harold calls one of his 3 children during breakfast. Just 15 minutes. Nothing profound. Just conversation while eating. He was skeptical. What's talking going to do for my memory? I asked him to try it for 3 months. By week 6, his daughter called me in tears. Dad remembered my son's baseball game. He asked how it went. He hasn't remembered something like that in years. By month 3, Harold's cognitive scores had improved by 22%. 22%. Here's the thing about Harold's story. The intervention cost nothing, required no medication, had no side effects. Just human connection during a meal. Harold told me something that stuck with me. I thought I was protecting myself by being alone, not burdening anyone. Turns out I was starving my brain. Your protocol depends on your living situation. If you live with someone, eat breakfast together. Actually talk. No TV, no phones, just conversation. If you live alone, call someone during breakfast. Schedule it. Make it routine. Video call a friend, a family member, anyone. The key is active engagement. Passive presence doesn't count. Talking does. Listening does. Connection does. Now, let me bring all of this together. The science is clear. These 7 morning habits are accelerating cognitive decline in millions of seniors who have no idea their routines are the problem. We're talking about research from Rush University, Harvard, Stanford, UCLA, and the National Institute on Aging. Peer-reviewed, long-term studies involving hundreds of thousands of participants. But here's what I need you to understand. You're not powerless. You're not too late. And you're definitely not alone in facing this. The fact that you watched this far tells me something important about you. You care about your brain health. You're willing to learn. That mindset, that's the foundation of everything. Remember Harold? The widower who was eating alone in silence? I heard from him 6 months after we started working together. He sent me a photo, him and his grandson at a baseball game. Harold's holding a hot dog, grinning ear to ear. His message said, I remembered every inning. First time in years I watched a game and didn't lose track of what happened. His daughter told me later that he's become the grandfather who remembers things. Birthday parties,
school plays, conversations from weeks ago. All because he changed how he started his mornings. However, be your story too. That can be your story too. Here's your action plan. Start simple. Don't try to change everything at once. Week 1, water before coffee and move within 6 minutes of waking. Those 2 changes alone will start protecting your brain. Week 2, add protein to breakfast. Never eat carbs alone again. Week 3, no phone for the first hour. No news for the first 2 hours. Week 4, eat breakfast with someone, in person or on a call. That's it. 4 weeks, 7 habits addressed. Your brain gets the protection it deserves. Ever star on your retina. Now, here's my challenge to you. Pick just one of these 7, the one that resonated most. Try it for 14 days. Then come back and tell me what changed. Because every week, I read your comments. They're genuinely the best part of doing this work. Last week, someone named Patricia from Ohio shared that she tried the water first. Comments like that, they remind me why this matters. If this information helped you, subscribe for more evidence-based strategies every week. Next week, we're diving into the 5 What you do before bed affects memory consolidation more than most people realize. The research from Johns Hopkins is eye-opening. Drop a comment telling me which of these 7 surprised you most. And if you've already changed one of these habits, tell me what you noticed. Your experience might help someone else take that first step. Take care of yourself. Your brain health isn't determined by age or genetics alone. It's shaped by what you do every morning. You deserve sharp memories and clear thinking. Now you know how to protect them. I'll see you in the next one.
Ay forro guys, ben I were.